What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video tasted. I'll be covering one of the exotics that came in Shadowkeep and Season of the Undying. It's Eriana's Vow. Now, how to obtain this weapon? It does come with the season, essentially. So, I know for the season pass, if you are a season pass holder, you get it on the first day, which is pretty cool. But other than that, if you are not a season pass holder, you can earn it through the season pass. I think you have to hit like rank 36 or something like that in Season of the Undying. So, in the future, if you're watching this in the future, Bungie said there will be ways to earn this weapon in the future, so just keep an eye out for that. Alright, so this is a hand cannon, but it uses special ammo, and basically I'm just going to be going over the perks and explaining why. So, looks can kill. This weapon fires special shield-piercing ammunition. It comes with a scope, so it automatically comes with the anti-barrier rounds on it, which is pretty cool. Extended barrel. Increases range, decreases handling speed, moderately controls recoil. Accurized rounds, increases range. Then we have Death at First Glance. Bonus damage when aiming down sights on the opening shot of attack. This bonus is preserved if the shot deals precision damage or strikes an elemental shield. Essentially, if you hit a shield or you hit a headshot, you keep up that extra damage. Once you miss or hit a body shot or just whatever, that bonus essentially just goes away. And you can tell, like, there's a little indicator in the scope and there's a little indicator on the left that tells you when the perk is back up. And then Polymer Grip increases handling speed. Now, there is a masterwork for this thing. I currently do not have it yet, but essentially it bumps that magazine up from 6 to 9, and then it gets a version of auto-loading holster. If you look at the perks, if you look at the stats, impact is 100, range is 100, rounds per minute is 90, very slow firing, but it does come with a butt ton of range and impact. So that is why it comes with the special ammo. I'm pretty sure it does like 164 to the head in the Crucible. So yeah, it's definitely a special hand cannon for sure. First up, going over PvE. So this thing does really good damage, and it really helps against those barrier champions. I really do not find myself using this thing a lot in lower tier activities just because it does a lot of damage. Like, it's definitely, in my opinion, it's definitely made for those higher tier activities. Anything from Legend and Master in Nightmare Hunts to Nightfall, the Ordeal and stuff like that. Even like the Garden of Salvation raid, where they do have those, you know, as say, anti-barrier champions or barrier champions, whatever you want to call them. This thing can put out a lot of damage, especially for a special weapon that can hold 30 rounds. It's essentially like, it's almost like a sniper. Plus, you get that extra precision damage as long as you're like hitting shields and as long as you're hitting headshots. Like, you automatically get a damage bonus with this thing, which is pretty solid. So, in my opinion, I wouldn't use it for lower tier activities because I think there's a lot of other weapons that you can use. But for the utility, especially with having the anti-barrier rounds, and if you have to take care of a lot of those, I would say, barrier champions, and if you have perks associated with the anti-barrier rounds, or like the anti-barrier, you know what I'm talking about, then I would use this weapon. So going over PvP, as I said, it does 164 to the head, I believe, so it doesn't do as much damage as a sniper, but you gotta hear me out on this thing. I find myself using this thing in the Crucible a lot just because of the utility, right? So it's a hand cannon that comes with a scope. It does extremely good damage. Like, you can clean up kills very easily if people are weak. You can basically weaken other players, and your teammates can clean them up, which is very easy. Since it is a scope, you do get a zoom in, but it's not as bad as a sniper scope where you can't see your surroundings. So that's what I really like about it. It obviously takes special ammo, so I'd highly recommend the hand cannon scavenger just so you get more hand cannon ammo for it. If you have the masterwork, then I really wouldn't worry about a reload, hand cannon reload thing or whatever. I really wouldn't worry about that. And yeah, I mean, I find myself using this thing. I really like it. I am actually going to be dropping a build with the Striker Titan, Bottom Tree Striker with Exit Strategy, and Ariana's Vow with Dune Marchers. And you gotta go watch that gameplay. If you don't believe me that this thing is like fun to use in the Crucible, you are insane. Like, I really like it. I was using competitive as well, and I think it can compete in that realm as well. There's definitely a skill gap when it comes to that. Sniping, you know, sniping, you're automatically gonna get a one-shot headshot. That's fine, but with this thing, like, it definitely takes a little bit more skill, so to speak. So I highly recommend testing it out yourself. I had a really good time with it. I really don't have a lot of complaints about it in PvP. So yeah, definitely go test it yourself. I guess just going over Gambit, I would think it would be okay on both the PvE and the PvP side of things. It does really good damage, so it does help to take out those majors and maybe even some mini bosses and stuff like that. And on the PvP side of things, it still does really good damage, has a lot of range, so It can clean up enemies very easily when you're invading, or I guess if you're trying to stop an invader, it does do really good damage. But other than that, like, there are really good weapons to use in game, but currently, the only problem with this is that it takes up that exotic slot, so I don't know if you're willing to sacrifice the exotic slot for this weapon specifically. Some exotics and perks to think about. I really don't know of any armor exotics that can really help this thing out, but when it comes to perks, definitely base it around some of the anti-barrier mods. I know for Season of the Undying you have Breach Refractor and Ballistic Combo, which basically states whenever you get a kill or somebody uses a finisher on a barrier champion, it gives you extra grenade and extra melee energy, which is always very good. Obviously that is going to change for future seasons, but again, like, definitely base it around kind of like that anti-barrier mods that will be available with the seasonal artifacts. Just going over a summary, I think for PvE, definitely made for those higher tier activities. It does have some utility for the, you know, those nightmare hunts when you're dealing with barrier champions, in the Nightfall Ordeal when you're dealing with barrier champions. Those guys can be strong, especially on the master level. So having something like this with high damage is great. PvP, it feels fantastic. Go test it out yourself. There's plenty of ways to get this thing to do a one-tap headshot. Like, I was using Thunder Crash, and I was using Inertia Override so I could slide over some special ammo, get the extra damage, boom, one-tap headshot. I'm pretty sure it did like 198. Like, you're right on the cusp of being able to one-tap headshot. So this thing is insane in PvP, and I really like it. In general, I think they did a pretty good job with this weapon. I believe it's a little bit underutilized in PvE, and definitely cater it around the anti-barrier mods in the future, because things can change with the sandbox and the seasons. We're now at the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, but there are 3 things I want to go over. First up, my clan, the D1 Fire Team, is looking for active players in the Destiny community. Our members play all sorts of activities from casual PvE and PvP to the endgame content. If you're actively playing Destiny 2 and want the benefits of a bigger clan, the link to join is below. It'll say clan link. All you have to do is request to join, and myself or one of the admins will approve you. If you're with a smaller clan and want the benefits of a bigger clan, and you have, like, let's say like 7 to 10 members, I'm just using that as an example, but if you want to come over, just send me a message on any of my social media links and we'll try to get something set up. Number 2, if you want to know how to support me, there's a link below that says best way to support me. That'll take you to a 4-minute video. If you want to go check that out, that would be awesome. But if you don't want to do that, you can always like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video, and all that good jazz if you want to do any of those things. Lastly, we have a link to the community Discord below. Just a heads up, we're looking for anyone with moderator experience to potentially run the Discord. I know for myself, I'm more of a player instead of a manager, so if you have some moderator experience, just send me a message and we'll try to get something set up. I know for myself, I'm on Xbox, but if you guys would like to talk or chat with me, Discord is going to be the best way to do those things. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video. We'll catch you next time.